お時間になりましたので、イスラエルフィンテックウェビナー2026を始めさせていただきます。本日はお忙しい中、ヘイブのウェビナーにご参加いただきまして誠にありがとうございます。司会のイスラエル大使館経済部根本と申します。本日はよろしくお願いします。本ウェビナーは、Fintech Association of Japan の協力のもと、リスク管理をテーマに、イスラエルのフィンテック企業をご紹介させていただきたいと思います。開会にあたりまして、Q&A の説明をさせていただきたいと思います。登壇企業への質問のある方は、こちらの Q&A の機能を使用し、イスラエル企業名を、冒頭にご記入の上ご質問ください。こちらのボタンの方は下か上の方に表示されると思いますので、よろしくお願いします。それでは、開会にあたりまして、駐日イスラエル大使館経済公使、ダニエル・コルバーよりご挨拶及び日本イスラエル経済の現状についての、お話がございます。ダニエルさん、よろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。Thank you very much. 皆さん、こんにちは. Good morning in Israel. This is Daniel from the Embassy of Israel, Israel Economic and Trade Mission in Japan. And I would like to thank all of you for joining us on this busy schedule. We had over 50 people registered, and we're looking forward to the upcoming webinar where we are going to feature for and innovative Israeli fintech companies. This event is in collaboration with the Israel Export Institute, for which we are very grateful. And Nofal San here will be speaking later on, and with the support of Japan Fintech Association. So I will take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the situation in Israel and focusing on investments and acquisitions. And at the end, we will also introduce our work for those of you who are not familiar with us. Suri-san, everything okay with the presentation?
Yes.
Can see the slides?
I can see.
Thank you very much. Okay, good. So we'll start. Well, that's just my photo, and you can see me already anyway. So moving on to introduce a little bit of our little country, number 154 in terms of the territory, so a tiny one, similar to more or less the surface of Shikoku Island, with a population of about 10 million and growing each year. What's also growing every year is the GDP per capita, which at the end of 2025 hit $60,000 and expected to continue growing. Israel is the first when it comes to investment in R&D. This is the latest data published by the OECD. So we're consistently at the top. And more than 90% of that is actually private money that's invested in research and development. This is one of the many factors that makes Israel such a innovation-based and economy-driven, knowledge-driven nation and country, and drives our economy forward. We're also ranked 8th in the World Happiness Ranking. There is such a ranking, for those who don't know. Israelis are happy people, despite on all the challenges. As you know, we have quite a few, especially in the last 2.5 years. But Israelis are happy because we are optimistic and we believe that the situation can always improve. And in many ways, it is improving, and it is very good, as we'll see. So starting with this chart, which shows the currency exchange between the Israel and the dollars over the last 2 years. So you can see a 27% increase, appreciation of the Israeli shekel. This suggests that the foreign investors have a strong belief in the Israeli economy, and it shows the resilience and the strength of the economy. It does introduce some challenges. The shekel now is stronger than, hasn't been that strong since 1993, so that's 33 years. And there are some challenges to Israeli tech company dealing with such a strong currency. But overall, what it means is that Israel is attracting a lot of foreign investment, and is one of the indicators for Israel's economy resilience, as well as the next slide, which is the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange. So this here, the time frame that you see is between October 5th, 2023, and the next 2 years. So you can see a little drop there in the beginning, just after October 7th for a couple of weeks, and then jumping straight back up. Yeah, I should have, invested in that index. Unfortunately, I haven't. But yes, it's a very good also in global comparison. So international investors believe in Israeli economy and Israeli public companies that are traded in Israel. And next, I want to present a few slides that I have borrowed from the Israeli IVC Leumi Tech quarterly review, summarizing 2025. And you can see here investments in Israel. Sorry, jump accidentally. So these are investments in Israel in the past decade. And what you can see is a growth in 2025 compared to 2024. And such a growth was also recorded in 2024 compared to the previous year. So we're doing very well, and many rounds of investments over $100 million. And we'll look at exits in a minute. But before, I want to show you a global comparison. As you see, the decline in 2021 was a peak year, and then it later declined everywhere. But it hasn't picked up everywhere. It has in the US and in Israel, and not so much in Asia and Europe yet. So Israel is doing pretty well when it comes to attracting foreign investments across many sectors, and we're going to look at which sectors on this chart. And I've highlighted fintech because today we're talking about fintech. But you'll see that when we look at where investments are flowing into, so obviously there is a lot of cybersecurity, especially in the last couple of years, a lot of generative AI that's been on the increase. Defense tech is definitely increasing, as well as deep tech. When we look at fintech hit a record high in 2021, over $7 billion of capital flowing in, and then it has decreased, but it's also picked up in 2025, and there's some great examples of investments as well as exits in fintech, including Israeli companies that also have presence in Japan. And this is when we look at exits. This includes M&As and IPOs. And you can see that 2025 was an extraordinary year in terms of huge deals, acquisitions by Google of Wiz, Israeli cyber cloud security company, as well as CyberArk and Armis, these three deals. But even without them, the situation was very good. And now I would like to speak a little bit about Japan and Israel. I'm sorry, there's a lot of small text in this slide, but it's basically to show you that we are looking at all the investments of Japanese companies and Israeli companies. And this is a list of only publicly disclosed investments. Of course, there's many others that are not on this list, but we've found more than 70 since October 7th. We're looking at this date as a benchmark to show that Israel's resilience in spite of everything that's happening. There's also an acquisition there in the beginning of last year of Kaneka Corporation, of an Israeli medical device startup called EndoStream. And this list goes, I'm sorry, until end of September. But there were, of course, a lot of investments since September last year. And if you'd like to see more information about investment or any type of collaboration between Israel and Japan, please visit our website. These are examples of items that we publish on our website. And also we have the newsletter that we distribute to about 14,000 people on our mailing list. I'm guessing a lot of you are receiving it, and if you're not, please sign up. So this is it for me, and yeah, we'll be happy to answer any questions during or after the event. And most importantly, I'd like to invite all of you to meet with the Israeli companies that are presenting today, and we are here to support any of your collaborations with Israeli companies and Israeli entities. So that's it for me. Thank you for your attention. どうもありがとうございました。
ダニエルさん、ありがとうございました。それでは次に、イスラエルフィンテック企業のピッチへと移らせていただきたいと思います。AI と機械学習を活用した自動 ID 検証、Know Your Customer のソリューションを提供するオーテンティックス社より、オフェル・フリードマンさん、よろしくお願いします。オフェルさん、floor is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Sharing screen, and I hope you see it.
Yes.
Excellent. What I would like to do is to show you how Authentics is contributing to the high score of happiness in Israel or the world. And as was said before me, Authentics is an identity verification company, part of the solutions used worldwide in order to stop identity fraud and obviously secure compliance. But what Authentics does is strong identity verification. I'll give you a little bit of taste of it. So this is where I'm sitting right now, and the sky is blue. We are not a new company. This is not a startup. Authentics is actually something like 25 to 30 years old, depending how you're counting, because Authentics was not born under that name. It had a different name and then rebranded. We are a global player, and we have some specializations. Now, just to give you an idea, we are very active worldwide, and quite a lot of it with big players for a reason. Here, for instance, this is a list of some of our clients. You will see TikTok, you will see AliExpress in the region, etc., but also global players anyway. And in most cases, Authentics is replacing previous vendors. By the way, Authentics does have a processing center in Japan because we are handling also Japanese identity verification. One more thing which is a little bit unique, just to understand, let's say, looking forward, is that, we are marching into the world of digital IDs or ID wallets, or it doesn't even have one name, but we are the first partner of Microsoft in the Entra identity wallet system. We are a senior partner, and we are serving the entire ecosystem of that identity wallet. Now, there is a reason why all of those companies doing what we do look like doing the same, but not necessarily it's the case. And the reason we are different is what you're seeing here. This is an actual picture that was taken many years ago and shows where Authentics technology comes from. Authentics is the only company in the world whose technology has actually been born in the one which is checking you in airport security and border control. So way before online and fintech, etc. And these are different environments than the normal identity verification solution. This is defined as business critical, security critical environments. So they require deeper and detection and more automation than the usual. Now, By strong, I mean a couple of things. One of them is our portfolio. When you check how many checks or how many tests or how many defenses Authentics has when compared to other vendors, we have way more. We have various layers of defense, which, by the way, the customer at the end does not see. It's all behind the scenes. They are doing the same identity verification they are used to with ID documents, with faces, etc. But actually, what's going on behind the screen is much deeper. We go forensic. We can even check for fraud that has already penetrated your system. So these are considered now basically already valid customers. We believe in automation. Well, in airport security, how many times it doesn't work unless physically the device is not working, like in the check-in desk, in the kiosk, or whatever. We introduced quite a lot of automation, which is saving errors and reducing fraud. So our system knows when it looks at, let's say, someone's ID or driving license, do we actually need the second side of it? Are we actually looking at an ID when we are supposed to be have been asking for an ID? Normal systems don't check it. We actually know what we are looking at, so we can avoid the issues and increase the pass rates. And something that anyone who's in identity verification knows, although it's very hard to explain the significance of it unless you're dealing with it, which is the flexibility. One of the reasons TikTok, ByteDance, has chosen Authentics out of a list of, I believe, 5 different global vendors was the fact that we introduced the level of flexibility, localization, flows, etc., which is basically unlimited. Now, this is the pizza. Thinking about it, when introducing it to Japan, I should have put a sushi roll. But this is kind of showing you what the portfolio of identity verification in 2026 should be looking like. There's a lot of attention on interfaces, so the ones that the end customer is actually using. There is coverage, obviously, of ID documents and biometrics, but also other documents that are part of onboarding, what is here called POA. Liveness is part of both documents and faces. We look at devices and injection, etc. So what you're looking at here has one change versus last year, which is the top layer, agentic. The world is racing towards agentic, and we are already in it. I'll give you a glimpse of it a little bit later, and it's making huge impact, not just on detection, but how fast can we introduce adjustments and improvements into a system. Now, we have a new layer in the system, the one that was red in the previous one, the instinct here, which is basically a second layer of defense, which is looking at professional fraud attacks. And this is the interface, and it is basically monitoring on a global basis every incoming call, and it is checking it against a gigantic consortium of already caught cases. And we are actually being able to detect fraud, which on the case level, i.e. the pictures of the IDs or the faces, could not be detected, which is a situation now because of deepfake, because of injection. And I'll show you in a minute what exactly this one catches. So this is an example of a professional attack. This one took 1 day, and it had 675 variants in it. They never, ever repeat the same submission twice. It always has crazy combinations. And nowadays, even the background is faked and is part of what we are checking. This is the top ranking attacks that this system catches. This is over a year, and as you can see, the biggest one was about 20,000 attempts to open fake accounts or accounts with fake identities over a period of a year. And you can see by the colors in the graph that they are very different. And the reason is that such a scale of an attack can only be launched by professionals. It might be states, it might be organized crime, but the common denominator, the number of iterations and changes, etc., is enormous. They change almost everything, so there are no repetitions. It is global, not just Japan. Okay, and they have different modes of operation. So what I've done here was this is a little bit to give you an idea. Now, obviously, you can look at APAC, and you can see that in APAC, your region, there is an increasing tendency to focus professional attacks on biometrics more than on the actual ID documents. But it's different in other locations. Now, I took the liberty of looking at Japan for you for this case. And this is just a snapshot. By the way, I'm blurring all the information which is not shareable. And as you can see, we also look at Japan. And in Japan, in that particular couple of days, as you can see, there were a couple of thousands of attacks caught. You can see by the colors that they are systematic, but there are changes along the time, as I said, because different groups with different attack modes are trying that in Japan. And one more thing that we do is, since we've been working with Japanese companies, we are also JFSA compliant. So in our system, that's a real snapshot from our setup screen, which, as you can see, can even influence the interface, which usually is just a sketch or whatever that instructs the customer at the end. But we also have the document thickness thing. So it's the same thing that you're doing in Japan or Japanese identity verification companies, although I don't know if your focus is specifically for Japan, but this shows you the level of internationality, okay, global flexibility that is built into this system in order to accommodate Japan just as well as it does, I don't know, Germany or Morocco or whatever country. We talked about agents. Now, agents are just beginning, so you can look at it as an emerging field with lots of expression in it, but we have already started implementing, let's say, an infrastructure of agents that is doing various things in the system, anything from helping detect fraud, which in the normal systems have not been prepared for, because usually identity or checking for fakes is looking for the ways documents are faked or looking at faces are deepfaked. But they keep coming up with original things, original modes, original changes and tools, etc. So it's virtually becoming impossible to have a system that knows all the types of the fakes or all the types of the bypasses and simply catch them. So what the agentic element enables us to do is to detect the unexpected by looking at all those deviations, etc., from normal traffic and that sort of thing. As you can see on the left, this one specifically, I'm looking at is handling injection. And by the way, the system we discovered can give an early warning on a professional organized crime attack because they are doing some moves before they're actually launching the attacks. So what the agents helped us to do is make that early warning system into it. This is what it looks like when you see the peaks. This is the part when that attack has been detected. So the bottom line is simple. A couple of years ago, identity verification would be simple, standard documents, faces, that sort of things. Now, even that, NKYC and KYB, all of it is good, but not enough. And this is a system that basically is forward-looking into the modes of attack that exist now, and especially puts emphasis on the more professional and unexpected type of fraud. So, Guru-san, am I on time?
Yeah, so please wrap up.
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you very much, オフェルさん。それでは次に、社内の脅威や、サイバー詐欺データ操作からの企業決済システムを保護する NsKnox 社よりオフェル・ブラウンさんよろしくお願いします。オフェルさん、floor is yours.
Hi all, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. My name is Ofer and I'm the COO of NsKnox. In the next 10 minutes, I'll try to explain what we do. NsKnox is actually a fintech security company. When we started, we actually established a new cybersecurity defense. The person you see smiling here is the person that before, when Daniel spoke about big exits, so CyberArk, Alon is the founder of CyberArk, and 10 years ago, we actually decided in cyber we need to look at different things and different way to protect organizations. We are SOC 1, SOC 2 certified. If we look at our customers, the thing that actually is shared between all our customers is the fact that they are very international. So all our customers, usually they source internationally. We are a B2B payment security company. So when we help an organization protect its payments, it's mainly customers which are distributed globally with their vendors across the globe. When we look at the problem itself, we're talking again about B2B payments. There are several vectors of attack. Here you can see some statistics, some of it from the FBI, some from PwC. The main attack vector that we've identified is social engineering. Social engineering, in few words, it means that people use ways to trick people into doing, they think they're doing the right thing, but the fraudster persuade them to do the wrong thing. This is why it's called social engineering. It started very naively a few years ago. When we started 6 years ago, you used to see emails from the CEO to the CFO to transfer an amount of money. It was very basic English and hardly in other languages. But with the world of AI, I will show an example of how it evolved. And today these attacks are very sophisticated, but their main target is to actually trick somebody into paying to a wrong bank account. That's the whole concept of social engineering in B2B payments. We also look at the cyber attacks on ERP systems and lastly on insider problems. We try to look at the organization at the corporate end-to-end B2B and looking from the point you onboard your supplier up to the point you are going to pay him. We make sure that the data you have is actually not compromised and is the correct data. We are not processing the payment themselves. We are a monitoring system. We call it a second layer of defense or external layer of defense because we look at your systems and we monitor your processes, but we are not interfering with them. So you keep on working the way you are usually working. Lately, we've introduced a new product, by the way, for banks. And this is something I'll explain also. A short video.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being?
So I'll save the time to see what you see here actually is Morgan Freeman, but actually a different person talking. The reality is it's much, much better. It's getting better and better. And today you can buy such a tool in some of them give it for free, but if you want a really professional tool and all you need is your LinkedIn picture, and out of that picture you can make a video of somebody else, you talk, and somebody else will see the other person. Why is it relevant for social engineering? So already we can see cases. Everything I discuss is open and was published. So this is an example of an attack. As I mentioned, it used to be naive emails, CEO sending the CFO. In this case, it started with an email to a finance senior person to transfer $25 million. Obviously, he was suspicious, and from internal audit, he had a control to get somebody approve it in person. So he actually asked for a Teams meeting with the 3 individuals. One of them was the CFO, and 2 more senior people to approve the transaction he was given by email. And 3 people went on Teams like we are doing right now. All 3 were deep fake, so they weren't the real people, and they approved the $25 million, and it was all deep fake, and money is gone. So this is where you see the fraudsters are really using the best technologies out there. And when we analyze, so we are operating in that space for many years now, and what we see is usually the best practice we see before we come into an organization is if you have a suspicious, do a phone call. And this is what you'll hear your internal audit or your auditor will tell you to do an external phone call. So obviously, it's not enough anymore, even not a video phone call, which we're already seeing some companies doing video calls, and they fail also. It's a matter of how high is the payment and how it's beneficial to the fraudster to invest in the fraud. And you can see the amounts are huge. So billions of dollars are being stolen like that. And when we analyze, and this is looking at the problem from a different angle, when we analyze, then we're operating for 6 years, the main problem that we see is the way companies are sharing their banking details and the way actually the bank is giving you a way to share your banking details. Here are some examples. We see these examples, right? We get these documents when we service our customers, but obviously we don't trust them. But that's the basic thing that our customers will ask for, a bank letter or a canceled check, and then they do the phone call. If you imagine going with a password like Ofer before me said, which is a PDF, and you print it or you take a photocopy of it, obviously you won't trust it. And we're saying it's time to uplift the bank letters and the way we share banking information. And instead of having a very simple PDF that can be really easy to manipulate, we would like to promote what we call a bank secure letter. From a solution perspective, we are operating many years in helping organizations in outgoing payment security, making sure when they pay the right account. We're introducing now incoming payment security, which I'll talk about a few words. Everything we do is based on a patent that where we store the information is actually quantum safe. It's based on mathematics, and the way we store the information is unreadable by our programmers. So if a programmer will want to see what the data is on our servers, he can't understand what it is. If somebody will want later, I'll explain how it works. But the main point about it is that once we store information on our data store, it's very safe, much more safe than any other data store. And the way we share it with you is you ask us if your information is correct, we check it with our information, and you get a positive response if your information is correct. Now, in order to make sure that we don't keep garbage in our data store, we've introduced, and this is unique to us, what we call a global account validation, which I'll talk about. And from the other side is a bank letter, a secure bank letter. So I'll start with the secure bank letter because it's very unique. As I showed you, bank letters used to look like they are PDF, sometimes they don't have any standard. You can download it from your online banking. And what we want to do is actually similar to what they did in credit cards. We want to actually mask the information on the bank letter. The issuer, this is like not a real bank, but the issuer, the bank, will actually give you the same bank letter, but it will be encrypted with our technology. You will not see the full details on the letter itself, which will force your payer to upload the document into the bank that actually issued the letter. And only if the encryption is correct, the payer will get the right data. And this is when onboarding. So when you want to pay somebody a high amount, you can actually call his bank, not call, but upload the document to his bank and get a confirmation that the account owner is really the account owner and all the details is correct. It will reduce mistakes, errors, and definitely fraud. So actually the issuer, the bank, is actually the verifier, is going to be the one to verify the banking details. If all banks globally will use it, we wouldn't have a BEC problem. But obviously that's not the case, and it will take us time to promote it and to get it everywhere. There are several banks that are already actually in pilot mode, and soon we'll launch these bank letters. But for the last 6 years, what we are doing, and we will keep on doing, because it will take time to have digital secure bank letters. Meanwhile, what we do is mainly we know how to validate account ownership everywhere globally. We do it only by using banking data, so we don't trust emails or video or phone calls. We always connect to the bank or get the data from the bank and verify the ownership of the supplier or the payee. The way we do it is actually divided to two. We have what we call in-network. It's a database that we are building slowly from all our customers, which is a very large database already, but the world is very, in the last few minutes we spoke, probably many accounts will open. So on top of that, we are connecting to actually local initiative, like in Japan, when you can validate the bank account. But if it's not in our network, and in our network means around 50% globally, what we do is we've introduced a unique method to validate a bank account, even though we don't have a connection to the beneficiary bank account. We do it with what we call reverse money transfer. And this is our unique offering globally. No one up to now have established a network of validating any account anywhere. I'll skip the next slide. As I mentioned, this is the countries we know how to validate immediately in network, and out of network is with our proprietary mechanism of validating the ownership without the need to connect directly to the bank. Obviously, most of the fraud will be on the right side because also fraudsters know where you can validate or when you cannot validate a bank account. And we actually, this way we validate corporate accounts everywhere they need to be validated.
Ofer-san, please wrap up the presentation.
Yeah, that's the last slide. As I mentioned, this is we call these two services. You can buy only Quick Check, which is 50% globally. We recommend to buy the full package with Knox Verify, which means you get 100% coverage end to end. And that's about that.
Thank you. オフェルさん、ありがとうございました。それでは次に、モバイル機器のカメラと、生理行動科学を活用し、プロセスを安全に検証する、Validit.ai 社より、アビビット・ヨルケビッチさん、よろしくお願いします。アビビッチさん、floor is yours.
Just a second, I will share the presentation. Is there any problem? I cannot share with a voice.
It's okay.
I need a voice.
Yeah, I can hear you.
No, I need a voice for the presentation. There is something here.
Ah.
Nothing happened to the Zoom.
Ah.
Let me try once more. I don't know what is the problem. I cannot share with the sound. There is something wrong with the Zoom. It was working before.
Okay.
So can you share for me?
Okay, your presentation.
Yeah, my presentation, though I a little bit changed it, so we will try to get over it.
Okay,
Yeah.
can you see? Okay.
Could you please share it with the sound, because there is a video over there with the sound?
Okay.
Are you doing it? Did you? No, you are not in the beginning. Okay. Let me see how we will do that, because there is a problem with the share screen. Seguro-san, maybe I will get out from the Zoom and try to reconnect, or you are
Okay.
skip me and go to.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. じゃあそれでは、AI、エージェント側 AI ワークフォース不正、検知ソリューションを提供するチャームセキュリティ社より、ロイ・ツールさんお願いします。ロイさん、floor is yours.
Hey, good afternoon and good morning from Israel. I'm going to share my screen. You should be able to see it right now. So my name is Roy. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Charm Security. We're building the agentic AI workforce for fraud and cybercrime. Or in other words, we design and deploy AI agents that are like workers. They're like expert fraud workers that you can deploy in your organizations. We typically work with financial institutions around the world, but right now our main focus is in North America. In general, when we look at the problem of fraud over the last years, fraud has significantly grew across all regions, including in Asia Pacific, Europe, United States, and around the world. And we are looking at two main problems in fraud. One is that the financial losses are growing year over year. And the other one is also the operational costs, and the ability to actually manage fraud becomes more and more expensive because we need more people to deal with that. And that becomes a $1 trillion problem globally. And when we look at the fraud itself, meaning what is the main reason the fraud is growing, we see that AI has not just affected how attackers are attacking our systems, but mainly how attackers are targeting humans. So if you look at the main attack vector today across the fraud space, whether it's in payment fraud, account takeover, mule activity, and others, this is mostly driven by human deception and manipulation, meaning attackers that are targeting the human factor and trying to manipulate someone like me and you into sending money, giving access, etc. And the problem in that space is that detection, while important, is not enough. We have many detection solutions, whether these are transaction monitoring, device intelligence, recipient intelligence, and others. But the problem is that detection lacks the deep understanding of the human context in the moment. And also because the fraud is so vast, we can't deal with the amount of alerts and flags coming from all the systems. We need to hire more and more people. And this is just not sustainable over time. So what Charm is doing is actually moving from detection to action, meaning that we deploy AI agents that are expert in fraud prevention and fraud resolution. So they are like team members that you can hire and bring to your organization. And these team members are able to take action across the entire life cycle of the fraud prevention and resolution space. The way we design these AI agents is to have, we call it a dual brain, like a two-sided brain based on a model we call HVE, Human Vulnerabilities and Exploits. It allows our AI agents to be both fraud and security experts. So our AI agents are like one of your best fraud analysts or investigators. They can investigate, analyze the risk, making decisions, or helping you make decisions. And at the same time, they also have another side of the brain, the conceptual agentic brain, is that the agents can also think like a behavioral scientist or a psychologist. So they can actually understand intent of people, deception, manipulation, emotion. The way it works is based on a knowledge graph, meaning like a neural network or the brain of the AI agent that give them the ability to work across these different nodes in this network and really be an expert in what they do. Then when we deploy the agent in an organization, like a bank, a credit union, a payment provider, or any other institution, they have 4 main capabilities. We call it investigation, intervention, execution, and intelligence. Investigation is the ability to take signals and alerts coming from all of your existing systems, so we don't need to replace your existing systems, investigate them, and help to understand if this is false positive, true positive, or what exactly need to be done. Intervention is the ability to then engage customers or users in real time, so our AI agents can actually join interactions with customers and help make better decisions and understand the context of that customer and investigate it or bring it back into the investigation. Execution is the ability to manage the workflow. So reporting, sending back to the case management, reporting to the regulator, etc. And intelligence is the ability to then look across cases and understand how you can improve your existing models or existing policies based on your existing cases. Let's see this in action. So when we start, I'll start with the investigation part. We can deploy our AI agents across different use cases, let's say money transfer. Then we can decide if the agent is going to be autonomous or just as a co-pilot or something in between. As you can see here, our AI agent is taking alerts coming from all of the existing systems, investigate them, and help to make a decision. So instead of sending all of your alerts to human review, the agent is reviewing. Then things that are required to review by a human, the agent can send to the human team by doing most of the work, the initial work of the investigation, and then tell the human team what is the next step that is required. In this case, it is required to call the customer and verify a few situations. So what you can see is that our AI agent also joins the conversation with the customer. So what you see here is a live conversation between the bank's team and the customer. And our AI agent is analyzing the conversation in real time, generating insights on the right side, as you see here, and also guiding the human team in the middle of the next steps that are required to do. So in this case, the AI agent is actually not just analyzing and investigating the data, but also bringing this new contextual layer, this new data layer from the conversation with the customer. With time, the organization can actually allow the AI agent to do it on its own, meaning to actually not just work as a co-pilot, as you can see, as you saw right here, but also start engaging with the customer. Meaning what you see here is an example where our AI agent is actually taking a flag from, let's say, transaction monitoring and reaching out to the user in real time to verify the situation and investigate the situation with the user to update the risk and make a decision whether the user or the activity is legitimate or not, whether it's malicious or not, and what is the state of the user. All of this allows us to solve fraud better and faster and also then be able to send this data into the other systems, resolve the problem that we had, update our detection models, and also show the management how much losses we prevented, how many cases we handled, how we improved our resolution time, prevention rate, and generating intelligence across our cases. This also allows us to look at our human team. So our AI agent is actually measuring the performance of the human team and see how they performed and where they can improve and how much value the work together between the agent and the AI agent and the human agent actually improve the results of the company. What you see here is an example of how Charm helped improve both the efficiency and effectiveness of a human team. On the left side, every dot represents a human, and let's say a fraud analyst. And what you see is we measure their efficiency and effectiveness before deploying Charm. And then on the right side, you see how every one of these humans became better in the results of their investigation and resolution, and also faster and more efficient in their work. And this is just the beginning. The ability of building an agentic workforce based on McKinsey's report, as you can see here, is going to bring 20x value, right? 20x value, 2000% value over what we have today. We can rebuild an entire fraud workforce with the combination of, or the hybrid approach of humans and agents working together. As I only have 10 minutes, that was a short session about what Charm can do and work with you. I'd love to connect with you. This is my LinkedIn, and also the team here, Suguru-san, and the team is able to connect us to connect you with me later after this webinar. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。ロイさんありがとうございました。それでは、アビビッチさん、can you share
We're trying to do it. We're trying to do it through Nofar, so to see if there is a system problem or it's only in my Zoom. Just a second. In the meanwhile, I present myself. I don't want to waste any time of any of you. It's nice to meet you. My name is Avivit Yurkevich. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Validit.ai. My background is over 20 years as a senior officer in the Israeli intelligence agency in the fraud detection department. And I can tell you after watching all the presentation that nobody came to frighten you from the AI fraud. It's really there. And the problem is not only understanding who someone is, it's whether you can trust them. And this is increasingly in the AI era fraud, when you can create perfectly faked images, videos, and even statements. So, Nofar, can you share the screen, please? I need it as a presentation. No, it is a Google slide. It's not a presentation. So let me try to share it by myself.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'll be able to share voice, so you're the co-host.
Okay, so let me try to do it by my own, and we will not see any voice with the video, unfortunately. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, so after the introduction, US financial institution alone reports on over $12.5 billion to fraud last year, and the numbers are expected to accelerate, especially in the application process, understanding whether the person behind the screen can be trustworthy. What is missing today, it's not only focusing on the identity and comparing to background data, is detecting the intent in a real-time risk layer. In other words, not understanding just who someone is, but whether you can trust them. And we at Validit.ai have developed the new missing trust layer for the disinformation, security, and the AI fraud era. Using any mobile device camera, our patented SaaS technology validates in real time both two security layers, whether there is an authenticity, a real human being behind the screen, and whether what he's saying truth or suspicious to be fraudulent, in a very straightforward process, implemented in any critical workflows such as KYC, KYT, onboarding for loans, credit and loans approval, insurance claims, and more. The unique strength of the technology and what is actually what is the differentiation between other companies and other solutions is the way the dual layer and how we do that. So we have our AI-powered defect detection combined with a patented physio-behavioral technology. With a privacy by design, we are not keeping any PIIs in the system. Most of the process have been done on the edge mobile device of the end user. All provide in real time, instantly, a dual layer of authenticity and statement credibility for our clients, whether it is the bank, insurance company, or any organization that deal with critical workflows. This is a demo video that I wanted to show with a voice, and I will try to make the voice by my own and explain.
Welcome. Here's a quick look at Validit.
So it is a quick look of our standalone product and how we can help with securing from any kind of posing or any kind of trying to commit fraud to your organization, protecting you and your customers. This is the standalone product that you can actually create by your own, any kind of assessment to validate statements, to validate the participant behind the screen, whether it's a real live human being, and whether there is the same person through all the process. After choosing the model that you would like to actually validate, there is a process that you are sending links to an end user. You can choose whatever language you want to choose and send him a link. The link can send directly to his mobile device. No need to download any app. It's a web assessment. And then the customer will participate in your assessment during the application workflow, which means that the same question you've been asking through the process will be the question that we will validate through the process with interaction with the end user. All he needs is to open his mobile device camera, his selfie or his webcam, and move to the process. There is the phase of calibration. We collect physiological biomarkers from the face, such as blood pressure, respiration, saturation, and other parts of the start system in our body. What we actually doing by collecting those physiological biomarkers, those are the indicators of stress in our body, and we can then analyze whether there is a real live human being behind the screen and whether what he's saying truth or suspicious to be fraudulent, creating an immediate report to your system, providing prediction regarding those two layers that I mentioned. And with this report, you can actually assess and risk the score from this particular customer or potential customer and make a better decision. So this is an example for a report. I moved much more forward with my voice to show you everything. This is the part of the backend of the system. This shows exactly how we actually collecting those physiological biomarkers. By the way, we are doing it by a computer vision technique. collecting from spots from the face those physiological biomarkers, such as heart rate, respiration, saturation, and other channels of the stress system in the body. We don't care if it is a woman or a man, what kind of background, what it matters that there will be a real human life being behind the screen, and the nature of the stress system, the sympathetic system in our body is all the same, sharing to all human life being and not any kind of a deepfake or synthetic identities. What I wanted to show you more is a flow of an online application. We have several customers that using Validit.ai actually for a KYC for onboarding of loans and alternative lendings, mostly helping them to validate whether the statement provided by the potential lender, the potential customer is the truth, whether regarding income, taxation, and any other concern of the financial institution. So you can see here how it is integrated via API in the process. This is the beginning of the IDV part, which Authentics can provide you, and this is Validit.ai. The way that we are coming into the flow, your flow, which means the customer can do it from his own comfort, his office, home, or whatever he would like to do, answering questions regarding his income and others. There is an instant analyze that injected into your system, providing the prediction. In this case, it's a real valid human being with a verified statement. And you can see in the report this. And in another case, when there is a kind of a deepfake or any kind of synthetic identity or a fraud, the report will identify it and also be sent immediately for you to figure out what you would like to do, whether to go through a manual process or other processes or decline the customer. As I mentioned, we work with various customers worldwide using the technology, among them global companies, from Homeland Security Organization, supporting security vetting and security screening, to financial institution, supporting KYC, KYT, credit and loan approvals, and more, to security vetting for people that working with sensitive information or exposed to any way of internal fraud. And there are a few stages using Validit.ai. We start with a phase of actually licensing in a small amount in a first department, the pilot, and then moving forward after a phase of KPIs and, of course, success in the process to establish a huge license for organization. So this is who we are. By the way, the cutting-edge technology was baked 3 years by the Israel Innovation Authority for groundbreaking technology, and a Bird Foundation bio-national grant by Israel and the US for the technology and what we bring to the table for combating fraud in the AI era. I will be happy to answer more questions. Sorry for the technical problem. It was working before the webinar, and there are testimonials here that can share it. And hopefully I could explain what we do, and we'll be happy to explain much better in person. Thank you.
アビビットさん、ありがとうございました。イスラエル企業のピッチは以上です。最後に、イスラエルエクスポートインスティテュート、ヘッドオブモバイル&フィンテックセクターの、ノファル、モラディアン、シーベルさんより、閉会の言葉がございます。ノファルさん、よろしくお願いします。
Thank you. So hi everyone. On behalf of the Israel Export Institute and the fintech sector, Shira and myself would like to thank everyone for joining us today. Thank you, Suguro-san and Daniel-san, for your collaboration from Japan. And a special thank you to the Japanese audience for joining us and the 4 Israeli companies that presented their solutions today. Let me share. Okay. So of course I conducted this image thanks to AI. We heard today through the session that financial organizations are facing a rapidly evolving reality driven by AI, digital transformation, and of course growing customer expectations. While these technologies create major opportunities for efficiency, for personalization and growth, they also lead to increasingly sophisticated fraud, identity risk, and operational challenges. We heard today 4 Israeli companies addressing those exact challenges. Today, organizations are required not only to innovate faster, but also to give stronger trust, resilience, and smart risk management capabilities. We believe the collaboration between Japan and Israel creates strong potential to address these challenges together, combining market experience with innovation in anti-fraud and risk tech, but not only. So again, I would like to thank everyone for joining today, and let's hope for a fruitful B2B session. Seguro, the floor is yours.
ありがとうございました。本日は、イスラエルフィンテックウェビナー2026に参加いただきましてありがとうございました。今回参加した企業との1対1の B2B ミーティングをご希望の方は、弊部の方にご連絡ください。今後も様々なテーマにてオンラインイベントを企画しておりますので、弊部ウェブサイトの方もぜひご覧ください。これにて、当ウェビナーを終了させていただきます。本日はご清聴いただきまして誠にありがとうございました。